Okay, so one of the things that comes up a lot with bends and vibrato is that we're going to have bends where we want to add vibrato. I mean, sometimes if we're passing by a bend, yeah, maybe we just want, or but very often if I have like a held out dramatic note, maybe I'm doing, and you hear all that kind of personality and flair you get from those bends with vibrato. Now let's talk about why that is. As I've mentioned in this course already, I started out playing violin, not guitar. And violin, of course, does not have frets. So our vibrato is moving, kind of lengthwise there along the neck, which is flattening and then raising the note. But if we listen to great singers, we listen to violinists, we listen to some of the more lyrical sounding stuff, what we'll find is that the vibrato much more takes the pitch and goes a little below and brings it back up to pitch. You'll often have this thing where, when we talk about developing our vibrato and everything, that and just pitch in general, that a little bit flat we can almost get away with. Any sharp tends to sound wrong. Now, if we just take a note on the guitar, we've already established that when I use vibrato, I'm bending it, which is, of course, taking a bit sharp, and then returning it to pitch. One big tip here is if you ever struggle with nervous sounding vibrato just on unbent notes, you're probably keeping it bent sharp and not fully returning it to pitch. But if you listen to a bunch of blues, rock, anything in that world, you'll notice that so many like big dramatic great notes are a bend that has vibrato on top. Now, why is that? Well, it's the only time that we can take a note. So say I bend the B flat at the 11th fret of the B string up a whole step to C. I'm not doing this. I'm not bending it sharp from there and adding vibrato. I'm actually releasing it a bit and rebending it. So I'm making it closer to what it would be on an unfretted string instrument or a voice where I'm going just flat of it. Now, one of the things I do to work on this is, can I get the bend to pitch? Can I release it by about a half step and rebend it? Taking that jaws exercise and kind of flipping it, so doing this. Now you might say, well, that doesn't sound like vibrato. You'd be right. But what it does do is it sets us up to do a similar sort of thing as when we're working on unbent vibrato, where all we need to do from there is we need to make it a bit narrower. We don't want the pitch to drop and rebend that much. But what we also really want to do there is what we want to make sure that we're getting it faster, where the combination of those two things, the speed and width, is getting it to sound more like vibrato. The reason we want to start with that exercise and not just trying to step on the gas and do it is that very often with bends, when we try to add vibrato, the fingers want to get involved. It's like we've already rotated, now do we just wiggle the finger? No, no, no. It's all coming from that same technique. So you take a bend, let it go, and then once you add the speed, decrease the width, you're going to get from that jaws exercise to really important idea of how to get that bent vibrato happening, as well as just keep your vibrato overall sounding good with not keeping it sharp. I would love to see some video of you trying this bent vibrato. I know that this can be a really, really tough technique to master, and having spent so much time working on it myself, as well as with students, I know that I can provide some great feedback for you to make it better, to make it more musical, because one of the worst things you can do is get into bad technique habits with this, because you just won't get the sound that you're going for. If you have great technique with it, you set it up in a good way, you're going to be able to access all those sounds you're looking for much, much easier.